Live stream here on the Mentor Pilot channel. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Today on the live stream, I apparently have my wife with me. She's known as MentourWIFE in the Mentor Aviation app. If you haven't seen her before, this is Sandra.
Hello.
So I know that some of you guys have been asking me to please include her a little bit because you might have had some questions about family life, being a pilot, and kind of, you know, how does that work? So today I will be doing a kind of standard live stream, which is when I just answer the questions that you guys have. But also Sandra is going to be here and take some of the questions. And if she doesn't get any questions, well, then she will just be sitting here looking pretty as she does.
No, I'll go on my way.
And she will also go on her way if she doesn't get enough. The way that this works, guys, is as always, I see already that there is 400 people in here. That will probably increase as we go along, which means that there's loads and loads of questions that's coming up. So if you have a question that you really want me to answer, well, then use a little super chat thing. That's the little dollar sign, means that you are supporting the channel with a little bit of money, but also it highlights the question for me so that I get to see it. And I guarantee that I will be answering every single super chat question that comes up, even if it takes me 2 hours to sit here and do the live stream. Right, guys, so let's see who we have here. We have Ove Björklund here. That's from Sweden. I can hear that already from the sound.
He said hello there on the...
Yeah. That's it. Thanks.
That's the thing he does. He laughs at me.
Yeah, constantly, all the time. Yeah, I think that it's the kind of key to a successful marriage that at least one of us always laughs at each other, at the other one. In my case, she's the funny one. I am the one laughing. So, or when she's the one that's pointing out obvious things, like for example, that there's like at the moment there's 50 different.
No, but he
messages.
said hello from Sweden.
Yeah,
and then you said.
Cool. All right. So it says that Mikey from Plane Savers is finishing his live stream. Yeah, I actually have him on the other screen here. I think he's just finished. So that means that there's probably more people coming in. First of all, Will Engel, you are the first one on the super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Now, there didn't come a question there, but Will is one of my Patreons, which means that he has access to me through the Discord server that all my Patreons get access to. As well as, you know, he's on the $10 level, which means that he can also expect to do a Skype call. So whatever question that you had, we'll take that on the Skype call whenever you want it. So here we go. Here we have a question. Where did you two meet? Sandra, where did we meet?
Working.
Yeah. Big surprise. Sandra worked as a flight attendant, as a cabin crew member in the airline that I worked in. We met back in, was it 2005 now that we met?
End of 2005, yeah, beginning 2006.
Yeah, and we met at a pilot/cabin crew party, as you do. I think, was it the first time I met you on your birthday party?
No.
Well, we must have probably been working together before that. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because that would have been amazing.
But you were in there at the front and I was back there at the back.
As you do, yeah. We try to keep ourselves very separated with that big cockpit door.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we met in 2005 and watched 2005, 2006.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've been together ever since.
Literally. Especially now, lately.
Especially now. Now we're very much together. There's a lot of family time going on right now. I can tell you. Like it's this is our little Corona cave that where I stay at least during the weekdays because I try to work on the channel, try to get some kind of normality back in the life. Because I think that if I didn't have this work with the channel and the live streams and the videos that we're doing, I think I would be climbing the walls. And Sandra is almost climbing the walls already, but she's doing a lot of work on the channel as well. A lot of work behind the scenes that you guys might not see, but you will definitely appreciate. So, Spyrus is asking, which one of you handles the isolation best? What do you think, honey?
Depends. I mean, Peter is busier, so I think it's easier for him. I used to be home before the isolation and I used to like working and stuff and I used to go out for my like aviation and now I'm staying in but I don't get to get out.
Yeah, we're also two very different personality types where I kind of enjoy being around people all the time as in I don't mind all the time. I thoroughly enjoy the social bit of it. Sandra is more on the she needs a little space, which she unfortunately is not getting because it's either me or the kids close by. But that, I mean, we do have.
But it's okay. It's good.
It's good. It's good. We're getting through this very well. I think it's day 38 now. We're getting used to it. It's kind of.
It's either that or we're getting crazy.
No. But it is good. I've gotten into a routine now. We'll see what happens when we get out of this routine. That'll be more interesting. So, Steve Rillans is asking, here in New Zealand, there have been cases of people pointing bright lasers at aircraft on final approach, trying to blind pilots. Does this happen in Europe, and how would you manage this as a pilot? Actually, I did a video about that. So there's a video on my channel. If you look at laser attacks and Mentor, you'll get the full video when basically what I did was I did a video after I had one of those laser attacks. So yes, it does happen. It is considered a very, very strong offense, a very bad offense here. In Spain, you can be fined up to 100,000 euros for doing that because it is considered a sabotage against aircraft. So, and the interesting bit was that obviously this happens mostly during nighttime because that's when people can see where they're pointing the lasers. It's very bad because it also happens at fairly low altitude generally because that's when it's easier to hit us, and that's when we are preparing ourselves for landing. And if you get one of those green lasers in your eye, you become blinded, and you become blinded for several seconds. So it is not good for them to blind one of the pilots during approach. If it would happen to me, if I would get it in my eye and I was pilot flying, I would have to hand over the controls to my first officer, and hopefully he or she wouldn't be hit by the laser as well. Now, what did happen on this occasion was that I saw where the laser was coming from, and since it happened on approach into my home base, it meant that I had quite good geographical knowledge of where it came from. So I could kind of look out, kind of peek out through my window a little bit, try not to get hit again, and see where the laser was coming from, because the idiot was still kind of pointing at us. So you could see it was just like a straight line down to where he was. So I told our traffic control, like, listen, we are now being attacked by laser. I can see that it's coming from the north, or actually southwestern side of Girona. It's from the area called Salt. So please tell the Mossos de Esquadra, which is the local police, that this is happening. So they did. The air traffic controls told the local police. The local police went out to that part and just waited, because obviously I wasn't the last flight that night. There was coming another flight after, and these morons were still there with their laser pointers and shooting at more aircraft. So the police could just come there and joink and take them. So they actually arrested them, which was fortunate. That would be, I don't know what happened. These were probably young people. I haven't followed up with the case, but if they got fined, what they could have been fined for, that would have been a whole ATPL training that they had to pay in fine, which is a very, very bad use of funds in my view. So yeah, it does happen, and it is considered very, very severe. Ian Stewart, hi Petter, what does APL mean on stab trim tape? Airplane, I would say. So airplane nose left. I just have to think where this is on the stab trim tape. So you mean on the one next to the thrust, APL? I have to have a look. I'm just, before I say something, I'm going to say that it stands for airplane, because airplane nose down and airplane nose up. I think that's where it comes from. But I have to check it out to make sure that I'm not lying to you. But I think that's where it's coming from. So, which is the best flight school in the USA? Why? I am at the moment trying to avoid talking about which flight school is the best, for the simple reason that I don't have that knowledge. I can't go in and say that this flight school is the best, because I don't know all of the flight schools. This is one of the reasons why we started the Airline Pilot Club, because with the Airline Pilot Club, we can go in and we can check out flight schools, and we can't tell you which one is the best, but we can tell you which ones we have checked to be good enough, or to be very, very good. All right. So I want you to, if you have a question like that, you go into the airlinepilotclub.com, and there's a question section there. You ask that question in there, and then we can start investigating. All right. But it is likely that in the initial phase, when we launch the club, we are going to just tell you that these schools have been checked up to be up to standard. And that's kind of as far as I can go, especially about schools in the United States. So, Jake Schroeder is asking, Sandra, would you ever want to live in Sweden?
I actually have. 7 years.
Yeah. 7 years in Tibet and then
7 years in Sweden. It felt as long.
It was actually just 2, but she says 7.
It was 7.
It was 7. Yeah, no, that's where we met. She was actually based in Sweden when I became based in Sweden.
Yes.
So she was at the base in Stockholm where I was based, and that's where we met. And we had a house and everything in Sweden. That's where the channel actually started, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, no. We'd left by then.
Moved here.
Yeah, we'd left by then. I remember that I was doing some videos there, but it was for a different reason. So I've only been in Spain doing the videos. Les Chase is asking, has Sandra given you a haircut yet?
He doesn't let me. He's afraid that I'm gonna ruin it.
Listen,
but how hard can it be? I've never done it before.
If you guys want to see me in a buzz cut, that's what will happen. I will look like an army trainee. If I
worst case scenario.
Yeah. Because
worst case scenario.
No. When we're talking cutting my hair with Sandra, we're not talking cutting. We're talking.
Yeah, and then cutting on the top.
Yeah, no.
And then
what will happen, guys, is that my beard is just going to get longer. My hair is going to get longer. And eventually I will put a cap on for these live streams.
No, eventually you will put like one of those like biking horn helmets. And you're going to look like Tormund from like...
Yes. Yeah.
From like Game of Thrones.
Hashtag ginger gangsters. Yeah, that's what we're going for. Me and Tormund. Todd, let's see. I'm going a little bit ahead of time here. Todd Citron is asking, hi Sandra. So can Sandra cut my hair? Sure. Can Sandra cut my hair, Petter? She's asking.
I can cut anyone's hair. Yep. The next ones are the dogs. I ordered the machines because we cannot take them to the hairdresser either. So I'm gonna try with the dogs first and then pet.
Yeah, that's how it works. Lucky me. So Todd is soon saying that he met his wife. At American. So yeah, it is kind of common that air crew meets air crew. It's the same as there's a lot of nurses that meet doctors and nurses that meet nurses and things like that. It has a logical explanation, and that's the fact that you work sometimes quite different hours than anyone else. I mean, we would have our off days on a Monday, Tuesday. That's when we would go out to the pub or whatever. So you'd hang out with crew, and you'd hang out during the days, obviously, with each other. That's when most people meet each other. So I think there's quite a lot of aircrew children out there at the moment.
We have 2.
We have 2, so we have done our duty to add.
I have 2.
I have 5, but she only knows about 2 of them. Shh. So, Vitaly Metlenko. Hi, Peter. Greetings from Sacramento, California. Love your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I shall do my best. There are more videos coming up. I try to keep it to 2 videos a week now. And as you've seen, if there's something interesting happening on the news front, then I try to do a little bit of a reaction video to those things. And I try to do one like major, bigger, more researched video every week. And I hope that you guys like that, because it kind of gives a little bit of balance to the channel. And Sandra, I hope that you like getting kicked out of the living room more often.
Yeah. He decides to actually film the videos on lunchtime. All the time.
Yeah.
On lunchtime.
Siesta time. I prefer to try to do it when she wants to hit the sofa, because I think that, a little bit of tension in a marriage is a good thing. It spices things up a little bit. It gives that little extra edge to things when she is constantly a little bit angry at me. I don't know what you guys think, if that's a good strategy or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, can Cassandra cut my hair? We already asked that. So you can go to Todd and cut his hair as well.
Yeah, when I can go anywhere.
And Todd is also giving a shout out to Pachi.
Yay! Pachito.
Todd, I don't know if the guys that did that laser attack actually got jail time. I doubt it. I think generally 9 out of 10 times it's kids who do this. It doesn't make it better, but I think that most of the time they kind of, at least here in Spain, kind of get away with it. I know that in the UK there's been a lot of jail sentences because of this. And, it sends a powerful message to people that you shouldn't screw around with these things. Like, it's not just shining a light at something. You're actually endangering the lives of everyone on board. Not good. Grand Rennie and is giving us food here, Sandra. That's great. We got an ice cream and what looks like a peach.
A peach.
Yeah.
That looks a symbol for like a tight ass.
We'll take it as that Grant thought that she has a tight ass. I don't know.
Or you, skinny legs.
I've showed my skinny legs once on a live stream. Never again. Talking of which, guys, I was going to see if I can actually get a hold of that. So I was given this kind of quiz thing. Yeah, soon we have the whole family here. Lucas is in as well. So I was given this quiz thing on Twitter today, which I thought was funny. So I'm just going to leave this up there. And I'll let you guys try to figure these out, all right? And if you can figure them all out, I think there are 10 of them, then please write them down and send it to me to the submit feedback function in the Mentour Aviation app. Right, so now, William, now we have both dogs.
No, he's asleep in your bedroom.
Oh.
So William is asleep. So except for William, we now have the entire Mentor family present in the live stream. So I hope that you guys are enjoying. This is kind of how our life looks now, which is very cute. So Todd is asking, hi Petra, did Sandra like Sweden?
Yeah.
Think about it? Yeah.
Most in summer. But yes.
Yeah.
Like some winters were better than others. Like when there actually was snow.
Lucas.
Those like
I
winters
like
where it's like rainy and grey, not that much. But with the snow ones were really nice actually.
Yeah. So Sefarian is asking on the super chat, can you tell the heading select in airplane to do a right turn when the left turn is faster due to ATC instruction, or is it manual flying that? Yes, you can. So the way that heading select works on the 737 NG, should say, it's slightly different on the Classic, is that the aircraft will follow the heading bug wherever you turn, which means that if you turn it, let's say that you initiate a turn to the right, you can actually turn it 360 degrees to the right, or 359 degrees to the right, and it will continue the right turn. If you wanted to instead go into a left turn, you have to take the heading bug back, and you have to turn it over the other side again. In that case, it will understand that, oh, all right, so he actually wanted me to turn left, and it will do it like that. But if you don't want it to do that, then what you can do is you can momentarily change the mode to something else. So say that you initiated the turn, and you turned a lot, 190 degrees around, but you actually wanted to turn left. You could initially just go to control wheel steering, for example, or LNAV just momentarily, and then go back to heading select, because when you do that, if it goes back into heading select, it would start turning in the closest possible direction. So you have to be, this is something that we practice quite a lot with the cadets in type ratings when they do that, because it's a little bit counterintuitive when you do it the first couple of times, but it makes sense once you've understood it. Great question. Mihaly Tooth is asking, hi Peter, I don't really like math, but I love physics and any subject which is connected to a technical thing. What do you think? How difficult will the training be for me who don't like math? Well, you've actually answered your own question there. If you like doing things that are technical, that you can connect to something that you can see the use for, well, then you will do fine, right? Because everything that you do on your flight training, even if it's a mathematical formula, will obviously be connected to you flying, to you, doing a calculation for how long the aircraft will fly on a single engine, for example, or what the maximum service ceiling is on one engine, or something like that. So the mathematical formulas is not like what you're doing now, which is why people tend to hate math, which is just sitting and doing maths in a book without actually seeing where you're going to use it. in aviation, you know where you're going to use it. So if you like physics and you understand physics and all of the other natural science subjects, it is very likely that you will like the kind of maths that you get across as well. So don't worry, that'll be fine. So, Todd Citroen to say my hair is ridiculously shaggy, high school long. I think there's going to be there's going to be probably a new 80s hairstyle kind of going on now after this Corona thing is over.
Not if I can cut the hairs.
no, but I mean, you should see my youngest son. He looks like a tennis ball. It's funny. Let's see. This jumps up and down, so I miss things. So Sean in London is asking, what's your favorite airport? My favorite airport is probably going to be Girona, because every time that I get there, it means that I'm home, So I love Girona. But otherwise, if you look at cool airports to fly into, Gatwick is kind of cool. It's very high density traffic. You have to really, really be concentrated as you go in there. I love flying to Malta. Anything that's close to my old home in Sweden. So Skellefteå, Umeå, Örnsköldsvik, Sundsvall. I haven't landed a 737 in Sundsvall though, but I was based there as a firefighter. So I know that airport very, very well. James Golding, hi Mentor. Will Brexit have any impact on a British person looking to become an airline pilot? Yes, it probably will, but we still don't know exactly how. So the issue with Brexit is that, the British CAA has just gone out and said that they don't want to be part of EASA anymore, that they're not going to follow the EASA rules. And if they break apart from EASA, then the British licenses, everything that goes in under the new regime, is probably going to have to validate their licenses if they want to work for an airline that is not British, which is, in my view, incredibly stupid and very, very, very unnecessary. If you have already a functioning, working, safe relationship with the rest of Europe, why would you break apart? Like, why would you do that? It's going to be harder to make your medicals. It's going to be harder to get jobs. It's going to be harder. All of these things is going to be harder for anyone that has an airline, anyone that has a license. That goes for cabin crew, for engineers, for pilots, anything, right? Unless you want to work inside of the UK for a UK airline. But the rest is going to be more tricky. I don't know how much. Might not be much. We don't know that. No one knows. But it's going to be more tricky than it is now. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Sandra she's putting on the face, which is I want to do something else. We'll see if we have any more question for Sandra here.
I have not put that such a face. You look at me and I have to put some kind of face.
So, Captain, I'm planning to join L3 Harris. Your thoughts? Once again, L3 Harris is a flight school in the UK. Once again, I would really like to kind of get you to look at the airlinepilotclub.com. Oi! Look.
Wait, he's answering a question.
Yeah, so now we have the whole family here. And this is what I told you. It looks a little bit like a tennis ball there. That's Lucas, William, Sandra,
Pachi and Molly.
And me. So this is the whole family.
Lucas. 3 fishes out there, but we cannot take them in.
Yeah. And obviously they love seeing themselves on the webcam. So enjoy this. I'm going to try to show how good I am at concentrating on the questions, even though something silly is going on in the background. But L3 Harris, from what I've understood, is a very good flight school. Once again, I'm not going to say either you should go to this school or you shouldn't go to that school, given the fact that we want to run everything of that through the airlinepilotclub.com. So go and check out the airlinepilotclub.com, please, if you have any questions about flight schools, anything that you have questions about, maybe your flight training right now, whether you should go in or not. There's blogs that's being updated every Friday, almost every Friday anyway, which takes in your questions. So that when you guys go in and you ask questions, then we will take them in. We might not answer everyone individually, but we will definitely look at every one of them. And if we see a current kind of a common path, common trajectory on the questions, well, then we will answer them separately in the blog. So go in and check out the airlinepilotclub.com. Sandra, what was your favorite thing about living in Sweden? What was the hardest thing to adjust to?
My favorite thing? Well, the hardest thing was definitely the darkness. It's very dark in winter.
Especially
It's like Mordor, but in Sweden, like dark.
Especially since we have a mountain in front of us blocking the sun at some times of the day.
Okay, that's when we're up in northern Sweden, not now.
I was like, what? We have a mountain?
Yeah.
And the
I got a thumbs down on that.
The
I don't
thing
understand.
that I liked the most was like a lot of like social thoughts, like social benefits for like the parental leaves, and you know, like it's very good when it comes into that I like.
Yeah. So, Jake Schroeder, let's hear Sandra say, I hope your day is absolutely fantastic in Swedish, and Peter say it in Spanish.
Yes, let's hear you.
Oh, in Spanish.
Ha en absolutely fantastic dag. There you go.
Que tiene un muy buen día. Un día absoluto fantástico.
Que tengas un día absolutamente fantástico.
Mejor. There we go. That's what you'll get out of me in Spanish.
I also want to make an announcement.
Yeah.
Me and possibly William as well will be interrupting every live stream that we catch.
No, that will not happen. I will put a lock on the door.
No, you won't.
So
announcement made.
Announcement made. There we go. Shout out to Lucas. Whoop whoop. Grant Rennie, stay safe and well, everybody. You too. Everybody out there, I hope you're staying very safe. Shout out to Molly. Awesome.
Molly.
Yeah, Molly, she's not too much. These live streams are not much for her. So, was family the reason for leaving the airline? Well, I haven't left the airline. I'm in the same airline right now. And the family is basically the reason why I am in the same airline. Because, as you can see, well, now it's not really a good point. But normally, I have the time to be a lot home with my family. Which is the reason why I've been staying in this airline, because I get home every night, which is huge. At the moment, I also have weekends off, which is even more huge. You don't get that in this industry normally. So I'm very, very happy with the social aspect of the airline I work for. And you'll come to notice that is one of the most important things with any job that you get, to make sure that you have good quality time together with the people that you actually want to hang out with. And that will actually be, once you have satisfied that you have enough salary to actually survive and drive your household, your life quality is going to be what is the most important. So just remember that. Alessandro 7432. Hi Captain, what's your point of view on nuclear powered aircraft concept that came out in 2019? I think it would be a great alternative against carbon emissions. Hope you're all safe. Cheers from Italy. Now, I haven't seen a new concept on nuclear powered aircraft. I have to be honest, I haven't seen what that is. There's always been a problem with nuclear powered aircraft, and that is that from time to time something happens. All right, there has been, every year. Well, there's been some years where we haven't had any commercial accidents, but generally every year there is an accident somewhere. And of course, if that would include a nuclear powered aircraft, then you would have the problem with radiation and contamination and anything that comes with that. That has always been a problem. Now, I don't know if they've come up with some kind of solution to that, but generally speaking, nuclear means that you have potential radiation and contamination, which could be, could devastate a whole area if that happened. And that's why they didn't even put nuclear kind of engines into things like the rockets that are flying out to outer space, not even flying the material out to construct the engine in space have been done, because they're so afraid that something would happen as the thing is being launched up through the atmosphere. So I don't really see that happening unless there is some kind of fix to that problem. But we shall see, Aviation Mayhem. That's an interesting one. Aviation Mayhem. Hi, does the nose wheel steering usually using the tiller stay active during takeoff? Yeah, it does. But we don't use the tiller above approximately 30 knots. Some people don't even use it above 20 knots, because it is basically like a the way I tell people who's about to start taxiing for the first time, the people doing the command training, is that you have to think of the tiller kind of like a bicycle wheel, it has an extreme quick response to what you do. So if you move it just a little bit, you'll get a lot of movement from the nose gear. And if you do that at a very high speed, you are going to get problems controlling it. So that's why the higher the speed is, the more you're going to start using your rudder pedals. And I think actually, if you have, I don't know if you can see this, if you can see the way that my... a little bit of forward pressure, a little bit of aileron into the wind. We're going to mute that. If you can see now the way that I use my legs, you see that I've already left the hand. My left hand is not on the tiller anymore because the aircraft is nicely aligned with the center line. And during the whole takeoff roll, even though I could use a tiller, I'm not doing it because the response from the tiller would just be too much. So here, during the whole takeoff roll, I am using only the rudder pedals. And the higher the speed becomes, the more careful you need to be with your rudder pedals as well. All right? Because, and here we go. And you see I'm actually taking off in almost 35 knots crosswind here. That's why you see so much aileron movement during rotation here to make sure that I keep myself wings level. But the answer to your question is yes, it would be effective. You could use it, but it would not be a good idea. Todd is asking, Todd, you're on fire today. Petter, do you recall the last time you flew? Yes, I did. I think the last flight I did as a pilot was to Eindhoven and back, if I'm not mistaken. But I did a line check as well after that, which I don't really count because I didn't do any handling. And then I've been in the simulator, and then I went on to my 2 months of unpaid leave, which I'm still on until the 1st of May, where I go over on a different type of leave, where, a kind of COVID leave, unfortunately, for the rest of May, the way it looks like now. But we are thinking about ways to start ramping up now. I am starting to think, since I am the headline training captain on my base, I'm starting to think about ways that we could potentially keep the pilots starting to get their brains working again for when it's time to get back into the air. Cyber Shadow 81, did you get the chance to fly the 737 MAX before grounding? Are you looking forward to the grounding being lifted? I did not. I did the training on it, as in I did the iPad course on it, but then of course our airline never received any MAXs before they got grounded. And yes, I am looking forward to them being fixed and back, because I think that it's going to be an awesome aircraft once it's back up in the air again. Davey is saying hi. Hey, Todd Citronis again. Sandra, do you have a pilot license?
No.
Do you want to have a pilot license?
Helicopter.
She wants to have a helicopter. And that's another thing, guys, that I wanted to take up now. I am inviting more people. There's going to be, like, this live stream is all about answering your questions and looking at Sandra. But I'll have a lot of guests lined up. So there will be more guests coming up. You're going to see that because the thumbnails are going to show which the guests are. So coming up on Wednesday, I'm going to have a guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but then...
Lady Gaga?
Shh. Oh. No. No, but I am basically scouring the internet at the moment and looking for people that you guys have indicated that you wanted to see on the show. And given that we are 1,120 people looking right now, that's really, really good, because it means that a lot of people will be interested to come in here and actually talk to me as well. So there will be more guests coming up, and I'm going to do maybe every other live stream where I answer your questions, and every other live stream where I do, guest appearances, basically.
You should have John Travolta.
I should have John Travolta, but he is very hard.
He's also a pilot, no?
Yeah, he is. He owns his own, I think it's 727.
He cannot be too busy now.
Yeah, but he's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I understand.
Very hard to. If you guys know John, then tell him to come onto the show. Balai, shout out Kumar. Heading select in the Pole region. Cool family live. Yeah, heading select in the Pole region, we've had questions about. I haven't tried it because obviously the 737-800 that I fly on is not certified to fly above a certain latitude. And that is because an aircraft needs to be properly set up to fly in those conditions, given the fact that, like normal magnetic headings and stuff will not work in the same way. So I don't know exactly how it works. Is going to be the honest answer that I can give you. Erigov Thomas, thank you for your support. Now, Erigov, your question didn't come through for whatever reason, and thank you for your generous support. But if you had a question that you really want me to answer, then you go to the Mentor Aviation app, you log in, then you go to submit feedback in the settings, and there that will send me an email, and just write super chat question in the header, and then I'll answer it to you in writing instead. So, William Henwood is saying, what languages are spoken at home? Yeah, this is a funny one. So, what languages do we speak, honey?
We speak Spanish. Not that much, though.
No.
We speak Klingon. No. No. We speak Catalan and English and Swedish.
Yeah.
No Klingon.
Very little Klingon, very little Spanish, but Swedish, English, mainly English, actually. Quite a lot of Swedish between us.
And the kids.
And the kids.
Try, yeah.
We try with the kids as well. But the grandmother, she speaks Castellano, and all of the friends speaks Catalan, which means that they have a good mix of Catalan and Castellano.
And the school is in Catalan.
And the school is in Catalan to a large extent as well. Tukum Sam, I'm just here to see the dancing now. I know. Lucas has given up. He does do a lot of dancing.
They do a lot of dancing.
They do a lot of dancing. They have too much energy at the moment.
They jump a lot now because they need to go out.
Max Witt, hi Mentor family. Are you homeschooling right now? And how are the boys coping with the lockdown? Well, as you can see, like they're on top when it comes to their spirits. There's no problem with their spirits. They're not
happy.
sad.
They're really happy.
They're very happy.
Yeah.
Homeschooling, not as much as we would like to. It's different here. I know that some countries have decided to do homeschooling, as in they just keep the school going and the parents become the teachers. Here, they've decided not to do that for the simple reason that there's so much difference in what kind of technical abilities that these parents have. They, some of them cannot do Zoom calls because they just don't have the data coverage that's needed. Some of them don't lack actual computer skills or computers to use it. So here,
some of them work and cannot be home helping the kids.
Yeah, and also for all my instructional skills that I have, I'm not a good preschool teacher. Like I am not. I try, but it's not great.
Do you know that homeschooling in Spain in normal circumstances is not allowed?
No, but I understand why, because they're you need people that are trained to do it. I would never try to do something that I'm not trained to do under normal circumstances. But yes, what happens now is they do get a lot of homework and assignments, and they need to sit down and they need to do that assignments every day. And at the end of the week, we need to send those assignments in to the teachers in whatever way that we can send them. And then they get graded by the teachers. So there is a certain amount of homeschooling going on. Are the kids in trouble when this is finished? No. I mean, the way that I want to do these live streams, guys, is that it should be like you guys having a coffee with me, sitting on the other side of a table, talking about whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. And as you can see, I can talk almost indefinitely.
He can.
Yeah.
All the time.
Almost indefinitely. So I don't feel like I need to. There's no dress code here. I've given up the sitting in uniform because obviously I'm not flying, so it just makes me sad. Yeah, but it's true.
You need to put your uniform tomorrow.
Yeah, I should just strut around in my uniform at home and
just
doing
get out
gardening.
to the main door and send back in.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go out and sit myself out in the car and pretend that I'm going to work, and then I'll get out again and pretend that I've just come home from work, and that's it. No, but I don't want to feel that like if the kids comes in, they're part of this live stream, just that you guys are part of the live stream.
Yeah.
I'm spending a lot of time doing these live streams away from the family, so it doesn't bother me, as long as they're nice and don't do something bad.
They normally don't.
They don't. No.
They're really good kids, actually.
Suyat Lai, thank you very much. Erigo Thomas, you're still trying, but it's not coming through. I don't know why your messages are not coming through, Erigo. Sorry about that. Denver De Sosa, how does Sandra feel about Petter being busy when he's shooting live streams and videos?
It's not a problem as soon as it's not lunchtime. So we can actually cook food and eat.
Yeah. So
I get very cranky otherwise.
Yeah. she gets very cranky. Now, but and you might have noticed that I changed my live stream schedules towards the evenings, and I mean dinner time in Spain is quite late, generally between 8 and 9 at night, local time. So that's why, for example, today I have it at 10. It's why on Wednesdays I have it at 9, but because then I actually have to rush to dinner a little bit. But I know that it's on a weekday, so I want to have it a little bit earlier.
And we're more relaxed also now that.
And now it doesn't matter. Now time does not have a meaning anymore, effectively. So I could do it at midnight or at 3 o'clock in the morning. That would work as well. On Wednesday, it's going to be an earlier live stream. Because the guests that I am interviewing needed to have it around before 1800 Zulu, so before 8 o'clock.
So before dinner.
Yeah. So
then we're grant for dinner.
Yes. So an early live stream on you don't need to be cranky. That's the main thing. Todd, there was a B-52 crash near Palomares. Nukes on board. Oh yeah. I heard about that. I didn't know that there were nukes. Oh yeah, actually that's true.
Nukes?
Nuclear bombs. That's true. There was a big scandal, wasn't it? Because people were sent there to clean up the nukes, and they weren't properly protected. Like Americans that had to come and clean up the nukes, and there was radiation and stuff, and there was a huge scandal.
Like the Chernobyl on the first day.
Yeah, but here in Spain.
Palomares, where is that?
I'd say it's around here somewhere.
Palomares? No.
Well, I don't know exactly where it is, but I remember hearing about that story. I think William meant to do the peace sign. Did he do another sign?
Peace sign. What did he do?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That one we have to look after a little bit. So whatever sign he did, he probably did mean to do that sign.
Yeah, it was the peace sign.
I'm trying to figure out how to change the amount on Tottitrun. Well, don't do it too many times because you do pay every single time. Sujit, can I do a pilot course at my age of 34? Yeah,
yes,
you can. Absolutely. There's no problem with that at all. Providing that you have, what it takes, that you understand what it takes to go into the industry and everything that comes with it. 34 is not too late. Don't worry about that.
Even to go into the industry, you can just do the pilot course. Anyone.
Still.
Even if they don't want to become real, working pilots. Like Travolta.
Yeah. But I'm guessing that he's asking to go into actual commercial flying. Oh. They tend to do that. Yeah, Travolta has a 707. And Todd, we can do the Skype call whenever you want. Just send me a message and we'll sort that out. Travolta 707 is the older 60s Qantas library. I know. It's really cool, actually. I wonder if Qantas has actually taken back that plane. Or if he was going to give it to Qantas. There was something around that.
Really?
Yeah, because a 707 is not a cheap aircraft.
I never heard of a 707 actually.
Yeah, it is a beautiful aircraft.
Yeah.
So John Travolta has a 707, which is donated. Yeah, that's it. To the Horse Museum in Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia. That's what I thought, that he donated it back. How are you both doing in the lockdown? We said it in the beginning of the live stream. We're doing great.
We're great.
Yeah. It's getting a little bit tedious, and I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to personally react when it's time to actually leave, because it's a weird thing when you have been confined to your home for so long. It's just very strange. I think I'm going to cry the first time I actually have proper.
I go out every week to do shopping. I'm a little bit afraid.
It does strange things to you.
The feeling is really weird. It's really weird feeling. It's a little bit of weight in the shoulders, see everyone sad and with the masks. And I get stopped Friday twice by the police. I had to open my trunk and show that, I've been shopping food. So
it's quite a bit of Handmaid's Tale over the feeling.
Too bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that people talking with walkie-talkies when you're walking past police controlling everyone. It's a very strange feeling.
You feel watched.
Yeah, that's why I don't go out. I send her out instead. She can explain it, because if I get stopped, they probably wouldn't believe me. I'll just get fined 600 euros on the spot. Giri, ¿qué haces aquí? Tú te vas a tu casa, en tu país, ya está. Todd, I've missed flying a lot. I put my uniform on. Sad. Yeah.
Oh, you should do it tomorrow, Peter.
No, I really shouldn't. Alessandro, from what I read, the nuclear-powered aircraft will use thorium-226 as fuel. Compared to uranium, it's less dangerous, and the nuclear waste is radioactive for about 48 months instead of thousands of years.
Yeah,
Still,
but 48 months is a lot.
48 months with high radiation levels in a society. If something happens and an aircraft crashes close to a city, 48 months is a long time for everyone to move out. I don't see it really as a viable option, to be perfectly honest.
Kids and pregnant women might be living there.
Yeah, they probably do. Jake Schroeder, Sandra, cook Swedish food or Petter make Spanish? That's the question.
I cook every kind of food. Swedish, internet, any kind of. Petter doesn't cook that much. No. He eats though.
I do. I do.
He enjoys eating.
I love eating. I don't cook that much. That's true. So, Thomas Pispanen, great family. You should try to get Bruce Dickinson to join you for a live stream. He was on Plane Savers episode flying DC-3 and he flies 747. I have tried to reach out to Bruce, actually. Not now. I should do it again to see if I can get him on to one of these live streams. That would be awesome. Absolutely. We'll see what we can do about that. Denver, De Sosa. Any fun cruise stories when you both were flying together on the same airplane or hanging out in another city out of your base?
No, we didn't have hangouts. But I remember once we had to go to the cinema. We were doing a really, really, really short flight. It's supposed to get on board, 45 minutes out, 45 minutes in, and then home by 5 or 6 in the evening. And I had planned movie and dinner out in town. Well, didn't happen.
Why?
Because we're flying with Jorn Elsman.
Oh,
yeah,
that explains it.
It was winter. The flight the plane we were supposed to take was diverted. We had to wait an hour for a cab to drive an hour and a half to Arlanda, the other airport, because the plane landed there. Then we had to wait for flight plans for de-icing. We were in the middle of nowhere parked. We had to wait to get there.
But at least we got together.
We got at night 1 in the morning.
Yeah, so that happens every time that you try to have plans while you're flying, by the way. If you have something important that you're going to do, like an important date or whatever you want to do, you can be sure that that's going to be the day that someone finds a rooster on board and you have to chase the rooster down and it takes 3 hours to find the rooster. Literally anything weird that could happen will happen if you have plans made. So yeah, and that's happened. We've flown together quite a few times, actually.
Yeah, not many, but a few.
Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, and the nuclear waste took a long time to clean up from that incident that we talked about. Yes. David Schwabone, warm regards from Lima Mike Lima people, from the Malta people.
Oh.
Warm regards back. I hope you're keeping safe. And
never been in Malta.
Malta's beautiful.
I want to go to Malta.
Yeah, and food is great. I want to go back there, actually. Aviation Mayhem. How does the predictive wind shear warning work on the 737? And also, why is the gear and flaps not raised during a go-around following a wind shear warning? All right, how it works. The predictive wind shear warning works using the weather radar. Okay, so it will scan for precipitation and specific movements within the precipitations within a specific distance will be interpreted as a wind shear, and it will be given to us wind shear ahead, or go around wind shear ahead warnings. And if we have a predictive wind shear warning, means that we're not in the wind shear, so we can choose if we want to just do a normal go around or if we do a wind shear escape maneuver, right? An actual wind shear warning, which is the wind shear. That one is an actual warning that's given by the GPWS, the Ground Proximity Warning System. And that is actually feeling that the aircraft is in a wind shear, in which case you have to do a hard wind shear escape maneuver. Okay? The reason that we don't take up flaps and gear in either terrain escape maneuver or wind shear escape maneuver is because there is a chance of impacting terrain. And if you impact terrain, it's better to have, for example, the gear out to absorb some of the force, and also for the flaps, because we don't know if you get a positive or a negative wind shear. You might, if you sit and you take up the flaps and you get a negative wind shear, the speed might drop so low that you stall and then crash the aircraft. So there is very good reasons for keeping the configuration the way it is until you're free of the wind shear, and then start in a controlled way to reduce the to take up the flaps, the gear. And the way that we do this, the way I teach people to do this, is you concentrate on getting it through the wind shear first. And by the way, if you guys are interested in seeing how a wind shear warning actually, or how wind shear escape maneuver is flown, I highly recommend you to go and get the Mentour Aviation app. All right, there is training courses inside of the Mentour Aviation app that will show you exactly how we do it in 360. So those are the only few things that are you actually have to pay for in the Mentour Aviation app. But we're doing those kind of operations. So it's really, really cool. Go in and check that out. Todd, I've heard that Spain has a high rate of infection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
we have like
100
nearly 200,000.
Yeah, almost 200,000.
Probably reach 200,000 tomorrow.
20,400 dead.
Over, yeah.
It's pretty bad here.
It's bad.
Yeah. Could you get Mike Bannister, Chief Concorde pilot? I probably could, actually.
Do that then.
Yeah, I probably could. Yeah, that is a good idea, actually. Mike Bannister. Because I am in contact with the museum, the Concorde Museum. They want me to come up there and do something together with them.
Really? Where is the museum?
Up in the UK.
Huh.
And I know that he is involved with them as well. So it is possible that I might be able to get Mike on. That would be awesome, obviously. He's a hero. Kuya G68. Sandra, Peter, what do pilots do that annoy flight attendants during flights? What do flight attendants do that annoy pilots?
Well, don't do that much to annoy us, but like not communicating quick enough sometimes, or like calling, like wanting to go to the toilet when you're actually in the middle of a service and have like 15 people line up to go to the toilet, and you have to send them to their seats, and stock up everything and like move the trolley. But we understand that they need to go when they need to go. So
what annoys us is the flight attendants not clearing up the aisle and getting the passengers back quickly enough when we want to go to the toilet. Because we do really want to go to the toilet, and we don't do it for fun.
There is passengers that they don't really understand that you guys want to go to the toilet at that moment, and I've been standing in the queue for like 10 minutes, and I have the next one, and then I'm going. Why do I have to go and sit down now? And we have to deal with those things.
And you should deal with them quicker.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. No, but what like, we don't get annoyed. I don't get annoyed with my crew ever, unless they do. Like it's the same with Sandra. If a person would do something annoying, that's a different thing. Like calling and doing something inappropriate or whatever. But I don't do. If they call me, I assume that it's something that they want, that's something they need, or some kind of communication that needs to be done. You can, if you have someone that's frequently dinging us in order to, for example, change temperature. So the 737 is famous for having huge problems with temperature keeping. Really cold in the back of the aircraft.
I suffered that for years.
Yeah, and you move that little temperature switch 2 millimeters to the right, it becomes too warm.
It never becomes too warm at the back.
Or it do become too warm. But anyway, so that sometimes you sit in an aircraft that had particular problems with that. It tends to be because of these temperature sensors in the cabin zones. They get filthy, dirty, and they don't really work properly. And then you sit and fiddle, and you're sitting there, maybe you're doing a briefing, an approach briefing, and then you hear ding, and someone's calling to say,
"It's
too cold at the back," and you heat it up a little bit, and you continue with the briefing. It takes 3 minutes, and ding, it's too warm at the back, and you have that enough.
And that's why we should have the controls for the temperature.
That's why there should be a master control in the cockpit and a slave control.
Seriously, I have frostbite in my fingers from sitting at the back of the airplane.
But you get frostbites in the middle of summer in Spain as well, so.
Not in summer, but.
Okay, so here, Hello, Mentor. I was supposed to start my type rating in your airline a month ago. Looking forward to flying with you at the Simmer line check.
Oh,
Congratulations, great work. I'm looking forward to fly with you as well. I hope that this, passes quickly so we can get you into the type rating and start to do some line training again. We haven't done much of that for a while now. Sandra McCusker is asking, hello, did you mention a few weeks ago that Sandra lived in Boulder, Colorado for a while? Or am I remembering wrong? If she did, how did you like it?
It was great. It was really nice. Yeah.
She kissed the head of the...
I kissed the buffalo because I turned 21 years old there. So I had to go to a bar and kiss the buffalo. Yeah. It was really nice. I remember it's a really nice time, actually.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Cute. So... Sandra, do you miss your airline job?
No.
No follow-up from that. This is why I normally do live streams and not her, because live streams with Sandra would be very, very short. There's not a lot of like she doesn't broaden it.
I don't miss it. Like, I miss the turbulence. That I miss. I get sometimes when we're flying as a passengers. But not the actual job.
And tell me, what is it that you miss the most when we fly as passengers?
Oh, I like it because I remember, when we had like turbulence, I didn't like that some people scream, obviously, because they were afraid. But, like if it was a little bit severe, not severe, but, a little bit bumpier than comfortable for most people. Then, we stuck up our trolleys and, everyone was seated and it was a moment peaceful in the cabin, except for the people screaming. But, it was like some kind of like peaceful moment.
The calm serenity with people screaming all around you and you get to sit on the jump seat and enjoy yourself. The kind of classic cabin crew dream.
No, not enjoy, but in the airline we worked, it's not like most of airlines that they do long hauls and they have like specific times to rest and to sleep and to eat. You have to do those things whenever you can. So sometimes we took the chance while the bumpy to actually try to eat because, as soon as it was done, then we had to continue with our work. So it was a moment that we could actually, eat and go to the toilet and do those things.
When I do my fear of flying course that I'm planning on, I'm not going to use Sandra.
Why?
Why? Because...
No, but seriously, if I say that to everyone that asks me the same question, like if you ever see or you sit in a plane and you're afraid and you ever see like the cabin crew panicking, then start panicking.
And that's why I'm not going to use her in my course.
But until, if there's a little bit of turbulence and you see the cabin crew going on with their stuff and eating and chatting around, then there's no problem. There's no point to be afraid.
No, fair enough. Delta 191, terrible wind shear accident in Dallas. Yes, and that is one of the few real wind shear accidents that has been fairly recently. Generally, we tend to get out of them, but that Delta 191 accident was terrible. So uniform on and play flight sim.
You should do that tomorrow in Lucas Explain.
Yeah, not with uniform though.
Why not? We can make you little cap also. We have time to build one.
I don't have a pilot hat, so she wants me to have a pilot hat.
We'll build your hat.
No, you won't. No, but what
doesn't let me do anything. Cannot build the hat. Cannot cut his hair.
Yeah, what I have been looking at for real is I know that there is a simulator company which I'm in contact with. I know that I've talked about that previously here on my live streams that I'm thinking or I really want to get myself a fixed base simulator, a proper one. And Sandra, she really wants to build one. Not sure why, but she's been talking about that for years, about the fact that we should have one of those. Anyway, so that's what I want. That this company that I'm in contact with is a Polish company. It's a really serious, good company. A friend of mine has bought a fixed wing simulator with them already, which he's really happy with. But anyway, they have a mobile flight simulator that they have actually fitted into a rebuilt container. Now, obviously, a container will not be able to house the screen, so it's television, curved television screens for visuals. But The rest of the simulators is fairly good. So I'm looking into right now to see if there's a possibility to get that simulator on a truck down here to Spain, so that I can use it and not train people, but to get familiarity back. When this is obviously not going to be something that would be approved by authorities, but it would be good enough in order to get people to do turnarounds, maybe especially if we have some young pilots that have just come out of the line training or type rating, and they need to kind of get back into how do I do a 25-minute turnaround. What are the SOPs? Can we do a non-precision approach? Can we do a circling approach? Just to kind of get your head back into it. So I'm looking into the possibility of actually doing that, because I really, really want both myself to kind of get back into the game again, but also to help colleagues. I'm going to see if it's not excruciatingly expensive, then it might be something that we can look into. So. Do uniform in place in. Do pilots ever put the seatbelt sign on so they can use the toilet? We're not allowed to talk about that. All right. When it comes to actual procedures around what we do in order to leave the cockpit or get back into the cockpit and stuff, I am not allowed on a public channel to talk about that, unfortunately. So that I'll leave it at that, unfortunately. Scott, Laurie. Hi, Petter.
Hi, Scott.
And Sandra. Nice to see you on the screen since Berlin. Yeah, we met up with Scott, actually. It's also one of my Patrons.
Pilot Expo, was it?
Yeah, in Berlin, Pilot Expo. Really nice. And it was really nice to meet. There were so many people at Pilot Expo. So many great people that I got to meet and hear about your stories and stuff. It was great. I really want to do more meetups. And there will be more meetups once meetups becomes legal again. I can't believe I say that, but that's the unfortunate truth. So, what happened to your hat? Too much hair? No, we're not issued with hats.
Yes, too much hair.
No, my airline doesn't do hats. There's quite a few airlines in Europe actually who doesn't do hats. I think it's a little bit unfortunate. I like them. Dustin Nelson, thank you very much. Les Chase, when flying as a passenger, do you still take notice of emergency drills, even though you could be qualified in the drill? Joined Patreon recently. Les, first of all, thank you for joining my Patreon crew. That's awesome. I do. And I spend, actually, for me, it's very important to pay attention to the safety briefing in the beginning of the flight, especially if I'm in uniform, obviously, because I need to show the other people that even though I am a pilot, I still listen to this, okay? Because even though I am a pilot, I am used to doing emergency drills from the front of the aircraft, but I am not necessarily used to doing the drills at the back, even though I obviously know them. But it is very important, and this goes for every one of you out there, to show respect to the cabin crew and to listen to it and actually just take those 10-15 seconds out of your day to think, okay, so what if we have a rejected takeoff now? Where is my closest emergency exit? Where did he or she said that the life vest was? Am I allowed to put it on, but can I inflate it? Like, think through it, because that's what it's all about. The time it takes for you to do that is nothing, but you will have wished that you've done that if that happens to you. If we then have to suddenly evacuate the aircraft, then you would have wished that you would have listened to it, because then it's, what did she say? Well, where's it supposed to be that if you just touch drill it. For example, when they say that the life vest is stowed underneath your seat, I reach down and I just physically feel that it's there. I don't touch it. I don't open it. I just feel where it is, because I know then that if something happens, we land on water, I know where it is. I know, my motoric memory knows where it is. So I know I can reach it quickly, and it will be one less thing to think about. So listen to it. I do it. And if I do it, you probably should as well. Raymond Lee, how long would it take for the cabin crew to secure the cabin before takeoff and landing?
To secure the cabin with passengers in and everything. I mean, that's very different for different kind of passengers. There's passengers that, they stand a lot in the middle of the aisle and they have to get their things and they don't sit quickly, and then when they sit, they don't put their seatbelt, and you actually have to tell them, fold. It's like you haven't taken off, but they already set up like they're in the office. Table down, laptop, headsets, a lot of things around, and of course they have to store all that because we have to take off. So if you have a lot of that kind of people, or with a lot of clothes on, and like it takes longer. But otherwise, it's quite quick.
Yeah. No,
everyone normally likes,
They tend to be quite quick, and on landing it's even quicker, obviously. Like, because some people tend to sit.
People just wants to get out, so they have everything stowed already.
Yeah. When you were a purser. I mean, when you left the airline, you were a purser. So.
Yeah.
Cool. So I had a flight attendant say, place the mask over your navel. Yeah, that will be a sure sign that she's checking that you actually listen to what she's saying. She'll see how many people are laughing, and she'll know exactly which one is listening and which one is not. Davey, what's your favorite place that you have visited? Ooh, that's hard. I have a few. I mean, we love going to Thailand. I love going to Thailand. What do you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So Thailand is we normally go to Ao Nang in the Krabi region. Around there is beautiful, and it's so much that you can do when you can have to, like, Ao Nang as your base, and then you can take these little long tail boats and go out to different islands and eat good food and really
so
nice people. So
convenient with the kids also.
Yeah,
even with small kids,
It's great. So we've been there several times, but I've been to the US quite a few times as well. To California. I had friends who did their training in Orange County and in specifically down in San Diego, and then they moved up towards the Los Angeles area. So I've been in that part and into Nevada, into Las Vegas as well. What I would love to do though is I would like to continue up the coastline there. I would like to see more of both the western and the eastern side. I've been to New York as well. I have never been to Florida, which I would also like to do. So
Australia also was nice.
Australia was very nice as well. But then, there's so many places. In Europe, there's beautiful places everywhere as well. So it's hard to kind of...
We liked Rome a lot also.
Rome was beautiful. Rome was beautiful. True. Todd, place the mask over your navel and breathe normally. I was asking, what was your motivation to start YouTube? Great question. It's a question that doesn't get asked a lot, actually, but it's an interesting one. So my wife is actually one of the big reasons that I started this, because she thought that I really, really, really needed a hobby. I had a lot of time on my hands and I had a lot at creative energy.
It was just when we moved here and he didn't have many friends here.
Which I still don't, because I now have a YouTube channel. But
at least
it's not the greatest thing. I don't see anyone.
You have
sitting here in my COVID cage.
No.
No, but yes. The reason was that I saw that there was a gap. I thought that I went out on the internet. I realized also that there is an entrepreneur in me that really, really loves anything that has to do with like opening a company, which this had now become. So I liked that part of it. I liked the fact that social media was something I didn't know anything about. And in my view, the only way to really learn something is by immerse yourself in it, by actually doing it. So social media, I don't know what it is. Let's start a YouTube channel. Let's learn through that. I realized that it was going to be really important. And most of all, the most important thing of all is that I saw that when I went out on the internet, I love my job. But when I went to Peep Rune or there wasn't many of these YouTube channels around, and there was a few, but very few of them. It was nothing there that I felt was a pure, honest, positive source of information. And I felt that since I love what I do, at least I can start a YouTube channel and talk about what I think about things. And this is still true. I'm not talking on behalf of my airline or on behalf of anyone else. I'm talking from Petter. That's it. What my experiences are, but I am a senior line training captain. I am a typewriting instructor, typewriting examiner, a CRM examiner, and English language assessor. I have all of these qualifications. So I thought, maybe I can give something. Maybe there's something in this forum where I can actually give something to the public. And that's why I started. And I think for all of you out there who are thinking about starting your own YouTube channels and stuff, you have to go about it from that perspective. You have to think that what you're doing is giving value to someone else. And that's what you're trying to achieve. Like here I'm sitting now and I'm trying to both entertain you guys and give you information, accurate information, as far as I know. All right. If that's what you're trying to do, then you will see that people will start to appreciate it. Right now, there's 1,241 people watching this, which is absolutely insane. When I started this, I would have 5 people watching it. My first videos had like 10 views, 15 views, 20 views. I did this for 3 full years before I ever started. I think it took me 2 years to get over 10,000 subscribers. But since my idea, what I wanted to try to achieve was to give something to those 8,000 people or 7,000 people that was watching, to give them some information from my point of view. And that was all that I wanted. I kept going. And this is the key. If you want to be anything on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever you want to be, you have to continuously keep
anything
uploading.
in life.
Anything in life, true. You have to keep working on it. And you have to, you notice that you do get better. And positive energy breeds positive energy. I cannot overemphasize how many people out there have been helping me with the channel, have been sending me emails like, look at this, I wonder what this is. Can you do a video about this? The Dominic, which is my graphic designer, he was following my channel, and I got to know him through a friend of mine who said, "Hi, Dominic is checking your channel. You should talk to him. He's a great graphic designer." And voila, all of these awesome graphics that keeps popping up on my channel, it's Dominic. And that's because he wants to help, and because he is also positive. Like the amount of love that is out there when you try to do something positive is crazy, guys. My patrons are now one of the main sources of income for my channel, for my company, which is now what's paying everything that we do, what my family do, because I'm on unpaid leave now. I'm not getting any pay from my airline. That will hopefully change very soon again. But the fact that I have a group of people out there who's helping, who's supporting what I do on the channel is great. It is fantastic. So that's a very long answer to a very short question, but still, this is what she's
we
talking
compliments, opposite poles attract each other. Well, my answers are really short and concise. He can talk for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
on something that is yes or no.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. It very rarely is yes or no.
But otherwise your videos would be very short.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I get that. Sometimes I get that feedback. Like people are saying, well, I had to wait for like 15 minutes until I got to the point. And what I'm trying to say is that, listen, if we're talking about a crosswind takeoff, all right, I'm going to teach you how to do a crosswind takeoff. I could tell you how to do that in 2 minutes. All right, that will be it. 2 minutes. You take off, you have crosswind from the right, you put a little bit of aileron in towards the wind, you have a little bit of cross controls, and you take off. That's it. All right, you could do that.
25 seconds.
Yeah, you can do that. No problem at all. But you would have no idea why, at what point, how much, and all of that, and every single bit needs to be explained if you're going to actually understand it. There's a way to teach someone something, and it always includes you understanding what you're doing. If you understand it, you will remember it. If you don't understand it, you will try to remember it, but you can't. The dude said I was going to do something, but I don't know why, and I don't remember in what order. So that's why my videos, if they're 20 minutes long, remember that a briefing that I will do for a cadet for how to do crosswind takeoff would be an hour to an hour and a half. Okay, so what you're seeing in 20 minutes about crosswind takeoffs or crosswind landings, that's the condensed version of what you would get when you go in for your training, because of the importance of what it is that you're learning. Right? So, sorry. That's what it is. So that and I I get so frustrated when I get those messages. Scroll to minute 13:55 because that's when he's saying what this is all about. No, if you do that, you will get the answer, but you will not understand what the answer is. That's it.
I'm one of those that actually.
Yeah, she would scroll definitely.
But I don't complain that it takes long. I just look for the answer. That's it.
So Ryan Provocha is asking, my favorite safety briefing joke was pull the oxygen mask over your nose and mouth. The bag will not inflate, but alcohol will be flowing. That's a good one. Yeah. They have some hilarious ones actually. I love the airlines that actually, I love the airlines that allow those kind of like variations, but it really makes people think and pay attention. Roger Marine, can I learn the same systems training for a 737-800 type rating as your airline if I have the 737 manual? Systems, yes. If it's the same type that you're doing, remember that all of the different types of 737s will have slightly different systems. So, for example, we fly both the 700 and the 800, and there are differences even between them, even though they are a next generation aircraft. The differences in the air conditioning systems, there are differences sometimes in the electrical system. Obviously, the sizes, maximum takeoff weight, and so on are different. So it's not necessarily so that you have all of the things correct. But if you're taking a 737-800 technical manual, then yes, it will be with very small differences between airlines. It's going to be good for whatever airline that you are practicing for. Have you ever been to Tahiti? There's a non-song from Charles de Gaulle. No, but as you can hear, Sandra would really like to go.
There's so many places we need to go.
Yeah.
When they let us out of the house.
So, Air Tahiti Nui, Paris to Papeete. 16 hours and 20 minutes. Oh. There's many reasons why I'm not a long-haul pilot. And one of them is probably that if I do a 4-hour flight...
Which way you go? You go left or you go right?
You go. What, left or right? You mean east or west?
Yes. You understood.
We go west.
You go west?
Yeah, I think they fly over the Atlantic from that direction, actually. So, how often are you recognized in an airport by passenger for your YouTube channel?
A lot. That I've seen while traveling with him.
It's becoming more and more now. Yeah. But if you think about it, it's like the channel have close to 80 million views at the moment. And it is...
Shit, man, that's a lot.
That is a lot. But it's 2.5 million views per month at the moment, which is a crazy amount. And it's out of those, it's 1 million unique users. So 1 million unique viewers are watching the channel every month. And that is a bucket load of people. And it's people who are interested in aviation. So if I'm at an airport and there are people who are interested in aviation at that airport and they see me, they will recognize me. So I am noticing that more and more. And I love that. Providing that I have time, I always have time to stop, meet, greet, talk to people like that. This is what I do. There's very few things that I don't like with what I do on YouTube. Everything so far has been really positive because I try to help. I try to do positive things, and there's not a lot of hate. There's a lot of love. The only negative thing that's happened to me so far is those imposters on like Instagram and all of these dating sites and stuff who steal my pictures and pretend to be me and then defraud women to send them money. That is the only thing that has really made me furious about social media. That is disgusting, and it is I do whatever I can to try to shut these accounts down, but it's like playing whack-a-mole. Those things, they pop up. There's like we close down maybe 10 of them a week. Or something, and there's probably 15
I'm
of them.
always scouting for them and reporting them. And the women, they contact me also. It's your husband. He's been doing this, la 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 la. I was like,
yeah, because people actually think.
No, he's not.
People actually think that I spend my time half on YouTube and another half contacting women in like Bangladesh and in Taiwan and whatever. Brazil and saying that I want to marry them if they send me $1,000 so that I can buy them a wedding dress. Like, these are the kind of things that happen. Do not, under any circumstance, ever send money to anyone who does that. All right? I am, as you can see, happily married. I have 2 kids. She has not died in a plane accident. I have not divorced her. My kids are not sick. Like, they're disgusting what they're doing. And you guys, if you see someone like that who's using my pictures, I have a little blue tick under almost all of my social media accounts. So if you see someone who doesn't have a blue tick and is using my pictures, it is someone who's trying to fool other people. You should report them, because it's very hard to go to the police and they disappear immediately. It's almost impossible to use normal law enforcement, unfortunately.
But going into the positive side.
Yes.
If you meet Mentor in an airport or something like that, normally in an airport because he has his backpack or flight bag there or something, and you say hello, you might get a lanyard.
You know that I'm now...
Don't tell anyone.
You know that I'm now going to have to carry lanyards wherever I go, right?
He does. I put them in his backpack.
I do. Actually, I do. So, the flights chat with each other on the aircom. Sometimes, yeah, there's been incidents when if I hear a friend, for example, on the frequency, we can go ahead and say, okay, Martin, 123.45. That tends to be a frequency that is very often used because it's not an official frequency. Then you can go over there and you can actually chat to each other a little bit, providing that it's not busy or it's a busy pace of flight, because then obviously you wouldn't. But yes, it does happen. Pachio isn't watching. Pachi, pay attention.
Oh, he wants to come up to my lap, but his fur is too long, so he gets really hot, and then he starts like sweating, and then he wants to go down, and then after, when he has cooled down, he tries to come up again.
So Arab's photography. Hello Sandra and Petter, thanks so much for such an awesome channel. Really enjoy it. Just curious, have you been on an Airbus A220, the C series, as a passenger? If not, would you like to try it in the future?
Is the A320?
No, the 220, the C series.
Ah.
It's we have not. She doesn't know, but I know we have not. But Air Baltic flies them quite a lot, and I would love that because I think that it's a beautiful aircraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. I pointed it out. Remember, we were walking and Lucas was talking about the C series, the Bombardier. Remember, Lucas did a whole work in school about
Bombardier,
Bombardier and the C series partially. So, and we were out walking on our way to Berlin. When we landed in Berlin, I pointed it out. Said, "Listen, that's the C series."
Probably was one of those moments that I didn't listen.
There are apparently moments when she doesn't listen. Yeah, but I would like to try to fly it I would like to get it myself in a simulator and try it because I think it looks awesome. It's like an aircraft of the future, some like a Airbus 350 but in a tiny version. Very, very cool. Totsitun, that's me. Talk into details. Good. Josef Testa, Mentor, have you ever done a chat with Captain Solly, or would you ever do a video with him? I've contacted Solly.
You have?
I have. Yeah, I've contacted him, but it's his secretary because you can't get through to him. But because I really want him as a guest on the show, obviously. But I haven't got a response back, and I'm guessing that he's one of those that does a lot of like public speaking, public engagement and stuff.
Probably in contact a lot also.
Yeah, I think there's probably thousands of people who wants to do live streams with him. I would love to because I think that would be really. Me and Sully have very different opinions on some things. Okay, we have different opinions when it comes to the 1,500-hour rule in the US, for example. So this is something I would like to have a discussion with him on because I know that he likes the 1,500-hour rule. I think it's silly. I would like to hear why, just to give my view on it, given that I do a lot of training with people who have well less hours than that and do a fantastic job. And also I'm doing training with people who have way more hours than that and who does not do a fantastic job. So I don't know where that 1,500 rule comes from, but I know that he is a proponent of it. So it would be really interesting to talk to him about that and not only about the Miracle in the Hudson thing, because I think that he's probably talked a lot about that, given that even Tom Hanks has played him. So, Andy M71. Hi Petter, do you have a lovely family? You and Sandra should do more joint live streams. When you do your pre-flight PA, do you make them entertaining and catch the attention of the passengers? I do a little bit of it. We are not allowed to kind of deviate too far from the normal script. And it's Pachi.
Now he wants to come back.
Yeah, now Pachi wants to get up again. So I do, and I put in little hints. I do say, I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic, for example, which is a good pointer. That is probably me up in the flight deck if you hear that.
But Petter does really good PAs actually. Yeah. Really clear, really informative, and it gives kind of like peaceful serenity, trusting, they're really good PAs actually. I have to say, out of my experience of hearing flight deck PAs for like 7 years, they're really, really good, because some pilots, they're just blah, 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 and they just want to go on because they have a lot of rush or whatever. But even if when Petter has those kind of moments, which I guess you do have also because you have a slot and you need to go or whatever, you don't notice. That's the good thing, that you don't notice.
No,
it's really good.
I think that, and I've done videos on this as well. If you look at PA Mentor, if you just search that on YouTube, you'll see that I've done at least 2 videos about the importance of doing good PAs, both for the cabin crew to reinforce their very important role on board. For the passengers, especially the nervous flyers out there who really needs and wants to hear both what's happening, that it is someone who's calm and knows what he's doing up in the front. All of that I know is really important. So it is important to take those few seconds to give a good impression. Rather, if you're not going to do that, you might not do a PA at all. That's my...
No, but yours are really good.
Pachi is... If he could be on top of me all the time...
He's in love with Peter.
Pachito.
He wants to go with you.
Yeah, but you're not allowed.
Oh.
Keep the videos coming from Ahmad Albadian. Thank you very much. Will Engel, thank you for your support. Great to have you here, Will. Alexandro Dan Roturo. Peter, you are an amazing teacher. Well, thank you. Would you ever consider being a general aviation PPL flight instructor if you ever had time for it? No, because I don't think I would be a great teacher there. Both because it was so long. It was 15 years since I flew general aviations last. So I would really, I need to have a passion for what I'm doing. And if I would feel that actually now I'm more into general aviation, then I would be a great instructor. But you need to love what you're doing in order to be a good instructor. And general aviation has not been, it's not that for me, not now anyway. It might well become that again. But at the moment, I don't think that I will do that. But thank you very much for your kind words. Matt Burgess, hi both. I hope you're doing well. As someone looking to start flying from hour 0 aiming for PPL, is there any theory you can recommend to study in order to get a head start during lockdown? Right, there is. Okay, I'm in contact with a company called Poolies in the UK. You can just look for it. Papa Oscar Lima Yankee Sierra, I think that's how you spell it, but don't quote me on that. Poolies, anyway. They have a web shop where they sell a lot of the stuff that we are going to put up on the airlinepilotclub.com. Might put it up on mentorpilot.com as well, which has a lot of good books, for example, how to prepare for your PPL training. But if you don't want to buy something off the shelf, then the school that you're going to, where you're going to do your PPL training, they will provide you with your theory pack. And you should ask them beforehand if you can get that. So that you can start practicing, start reading the stuff that you are going to have to be examined on anyway. So that's a good, either go and buy, preparation material off the shelf or get the proper theory package. But good, that's the attitude that you need to have. Okay, guys, you don't have to send any more super chat questions now. Thank you very much for all of your support, but we have to wrap this up, and I want to be able to answer all of them. AirMike 888. On a flight last year, the pilot flying made a very soft landing. What does a good landing feel like so I can say yep to the pilot landing? By the way, you guys are awesome. Well, thank you. A good landing can be a very soft landing. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be a soft landing. So normally the kind of landings that is on the mark, you feel that you land, but it's not hard and it's not super soft. They tend to be the ones that are on the spot. And if you look sitting by a window seat and you're looking out, the little poppy boxes, the yellow boxes that you can see on the side of the runways. If you feel the touchdown when you're just abeam those yellow boxes, they have put it down on exactly the right spot, right? They've landed in the middle of the touchdown zone. And if that's then a normal landing without being super soft or super hard, well then, thumbs up, all right? The soft landings, they tend to come when you land a little bit long, unfortunately, which means that we were sitting in the front, maybe like, But sometimes I've had really, really, really soft landings exactly on the spot as well. And in that case, when you do get the applause, which we do here, by the way, you feel happy about it. Absolutely. But in the 737, those landings are pure luck. You will not find a single pilot that can do them 10 in a row. It will not happen because it is hard to land a 737 properly.
But you land very good.
Yeah, but sometimes I land really bad as well. It happens.
But even if you land really bad, it always feels like it's like a butter knife, You don't really have that.
I'm not paying her to say these things.
No, but seriously. When I was flying, one of the best landings was with him. There was a few experienced captains also, but him was one of the best.
I do what I can. So, Doug Reary, what are the worst, least fun, tedious things that you? What are the best things about being an airline pilot and a flight attendant? All right. So what is the worst thing of being a flight attendant?
Bad passengers.
So behave.
It can like ruin your day. Really.
But also bad colleagues. Like you fly with people that you don't like. It's not.
Yeah, like the way I am. When it comes into colleagues, I had really good colleagues that they were like me, like to follow the rules by like the dots, and we never had the problem because they knew exactly what they're supposed to do. They never questioned anything they were told because that was the way it's supposed to be done. But in the other side, there was also like some colleagues that they were more sloppy and more relaxed and they like to question everything.
She doesn't suffer fools. That's
No.
that's one of her things. She does not suffer fools lightly. From a pilot's perspective, there's a couple of things. Okay, so you will have, for example, really long weeks. If you're flying early week, 5 days in a row, 4 sector days, long 4 sector days. They can be 12 hours long.
Yeah.
If you do 5 of those, the last day you are going to feel exhausted. You're still within flight time limitations. You're still safe to fly and operate. You have to be, but you are going to feel tired and run down, and it's not going to be fun. It's as easy as that. It's not going to be fun. So if you fly too much, too long, especially if you're doing the same kind of sectors, it will wear you down, and you will not think that it's fun. On the other side, when you do the normal weeks, which are maybe you do a couple of 2 sector days in your 5 days, maybe you have a standby in the middle, then you really appreciate what you're doing, and it's beautifully fun. Like it is different every day. You fly with different people normally every day. You see different weather. There's different challenges, and it's just awesome. It never really gets old to be taken off with a 737. It's as easy as that. If when you line up on the runway and you getting ready to go, you set takeoff thrust and the aircraft start rolling down the runway. It is an absolutely amazing feeling.
But the good thing is it's always sunny up there.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
As you're like, that even if it's shitty weather down, which it can be really, really gray and dark and nasty. Once you get up there, it will be good. Like you will have a beautiful view every single day. You're pretty much guaranteed of that. Then obviously you're gonna have to get down into the soup again at some point. But I mean, and this feeling, what you're seeing right now when you're rotating, or when you're landing the 737, that's probably the most fun bit of it. It never really gets old, and you don't really get this in much other offices. And like it is a very good job. So thank you. That's a great question. And Grant Rennie is then finishing off today's super chat questions with saying hello to Flight Shops. Flight Shops.
Great. I saw him there commenting.
Great to have you here, man. I hope that everything is okay. Let's see. Really can ruin your day when you're working so hard, and then someone is totally rude and mean. Yeah, absolutely. And that happens. I mean, this is the good thing with being a captain, I should say, because because you set your own day. Like you're not going to suffer a fool. Like you're not going to have someone being rude to you. You tell them off because you're at the top of the like the chain. That was a problem when you were first officer, because when you're first officer, you have to act a little bit like a chameleon. You have to adapt yourself, and you'll fly with some captains that are really nice and you love flying with. You'll fly with some captains that are total a-holes, to be perfectly honest, and you have to work good and well and professionally with them as well. But as a captain, if someone is being rude or not professional, especially as a training captain, I can just tell them in a good, of course, a very constructive and positive way, to tell them like, listen, you need to sort this out because A, B, and C, and this is going to have a problem. You're going to have problems with your command upgrade and so on, and people will listen to you. So being a cap, that's one of the good things of being the left. You have all of the responsibility. People are turning to you when things go wrong, but also you can set the day. You can set how you want the day to be. And if you don't want to be talking that day, you want to be the quiet type, and you want to kind of have one of those days, you can have that, and people will be adapting to you, which is good. And that was kind of the same, I guess, when you were a purser, because you were the cabin chief. you know.
Without the authority.
Yeah, you know. But that's
as I said, there's people for there's all type of people. So
there is definitely all types of people.
And I guess it's like any other job. There's great days and there's days that are normal. That's it.
Good, guys. I'm going to take some normal questions as well from the normal chat. I know that I have kind of not looked at you too much. I do feel sorry about that. But this is kind of what happens when you have so many people watching the stream. I want to really give the attention to people who are supporting with Super Chat. But I do know that you guys are here as well. So, Eduardo Caram, it's possible to start off both engines at the same time on a 737. If so, why isn't it usually done this way? No. You would get hung start if you try to do that, because you only have so much bleed air available, and you need the bleed air from the APU in order to start the engine. And if you would try to start them both, you could get both starters at the same time, but it would not be enough air, which means that we wouldn't get the starters up to the minimum value, which is around between 20 and 25%. We try to wait to 25% before we put fuel on. And if you don't get up to those values and you put fuel on, the ignition will start, but the engine will not start properly. It will get a hung start, which means that the values are not increasing the way that they should, and you will have EGT starting to rise up, and it's not good for the engine. So that's why you start them one at a time. Theoretically, it's possible. In reality, it will just never happen. Dean Barnes, will there ever be an opportunity for those who don't fly to sit in the cockpit for 15-20 minutes to get the feel of what pilots are going through? No. That will probably never happen again. Not unless you have some kind of special permit, the chief pilot, and you've gotten some kind of clearance to do so. Because after September 11th, even if you are 15 years old or 12 years old or whatever, there's always going to be people in the back of the cabin who's going to feel really, really bad about seeing the cockpit opened and someone getting into the cockpit. And the security problem together with that feeling for people on board is just not worth it for the airlines. So, and it will be very hard in case something happens. If something would happen from a security point of view or whatever, you cannot really motivate it. That's the problem with it. So that's probably never going to happen again. I am really sad about that, because I got to do it when I was 14, when I was 12 even, and I might not have gone into this occupation if I didn't have had that possibility to go into the cockpit and see what we're doing. So I would have loved to take William on the jump seat, but I'm not allowed. Okay, guys, that's it. We've been going for almost an hour and 40 minutes, which is, I think, closing up on a new record again. Let's see here. NBS is saying, Petter, please make an episode about braking the aircraft. Breaking it.
What?
No, as in slowing it down. Please show how to activate the auto braking during taxi, bugs and things that can go wrong, and the human activated option. I don't know if that is enough material to make a full video on, but sure, I mean, anything can be done. This is one of the reasons why I want to have access to my own simulator, because then I can do that. I can show break it. Then Sandra could break it, and I could pay for it, which would be awesome, obviously. Can you do a video on the nervous passengers? Yeah, I'm going to do a whole course for nervous passengers, which is going to be on the mentorpilot.com. All right, so I'm definitely doing that.
And I saw a comment from Sandra.
Sandra?
Yeah.
Mikuski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said that her favorite moment is when they break through the clouds while climbing. That's mine too, because it's normally turbulence there. Also, like very light.
She's a turbulence junkie. This one.
Yeah.
Can you do a full flight video for us? No. There's people like live from the flight deck who do these fantastic in-flight videos, cockpit videos. A, I am not allowed to do so. B, I don't have the material needed to do a good one. And my videos is what I do. I explain things. I show things in simulators and stuff. But when I'm flying, and I'm normally training as well. And it's not the time for me to sit and focus on trying to get the angle right and looking good from the side or whatever. That's not my thing. So there are other channels that I highly recommend. And if you want to see see some awesome in-flight video from like general aviation aircraft and old warbirds and stuff like that, then obviously Flight Shops is where you should go. He's here on in the stream right now. So go and check out Flight Shops after this if you want to see some really awesome in-flight material. But because it's probably not going to happen on the Mentor Pilot channel. And on that bombshell, guys, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you who's been here. As always, I'm going to go into the Mentor Aviation app after this.
Now?
Yes, I always do that, honey. I do that to kind of wind down. You see that little flight man, that little icon there? That's Mentor Aviation. You go there, you click on it, it opens up, and in this case, it fails. There we go. There we go. And then you go to the chat and you start talking to people. So here is where I tend to go there a couple of times a day just to kind of hang out with the people who are using it. This is the chat. You can talk about anything in there. It's a very positive, supportive forum. Anyone, if you're afraid of flying, you're welcome there. I'm going to be there. Other like pilots are there as well. People in training, general aviation pilots, enthusiasts. You'll find everything. But if you're into more kind of technical details, then there's loads of forums available. If you want to talk about the 737 crisis, the MAX crisis, if you want to talk about what's going on, I don't know what's up here now, aviation related books, Goodbye to Flybe. People have been creating these forums, and under that you can discuss anything that you like. And crucially, this is the news function, okay? And we have anything that's interesting that's going on comes in the news function, including how you can get this awesome t-shirt. But go in there. The app is completely free to download. You just have to go and get it and put your profile picture in there, because I really like to see who I'm talking to, and that's it. And on that, I want to say thank you. You want to say thank you as well?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.